Good morning, everyone. Catherine McKenna is tweeting out, a whole bunch of emojis. A whole bunch of brown and then lighter brown and then lighter brown and then some white emojis. And then in the center of all the emojis, it says climate change is real. And that's it. That was it. From yesterday morning at 9:15, it says climate change is real. Or 9:15 p.m. Presumably, yesterday, Mr. Bernier, and this weekend, Mr. Bernier is at a conference in Saskatchewan. He's speaking, it was either yesterday at lunchtime or today at lunchtime. I'm not sure. I thought it was Sunday, but somebody else said it was Saturday. Not sure. But he's speaking today. And at the same conference, Patrick Moore, who's the former Greenpeace founder turned environment realist, anti-climate hair-on-fireist, I'm not sure. But he speaks out against the current climate hysteria and says, well, hold on a second, there's another side to this story. So, and there really is. But Miss McKenna's got all of her emojis, right? So, and the hair and the socks and the multicolored emojis. What a strange, this is the Minister of Environment who has overseen yearly discharges of human feces and raw sewage, untreated sewage into waterways that when her government took over in 2015, there was a plan to have municipalities access federal money to fix that problem and be done with it by 2020, by next year. But instead, we've got emojis that says climate change is real and we're going to do something about it. And what are we going to do? We're going to tax you and then give you the money back. Yay! What does that do to stop climate change? I don't know. I have no idea. It just makes everything more expensive. What a ridiculous thing to do. And this is a meme that's in response to this, and I thought it was funny. It says, we can't fight homelessness, hunger, or poverty, but we are going to fight climate change. Yeah, just let that sink in for a minute. Right. And look outside. We're much, much colder than seasonal right now. Records being coldest records being blown daily. We had 2 days last week that set records from the 1920s. Really wild. Moving on to jobs, and trade. And it's Stephen Harper's fault. Saskatchewan hires former Prime Minister Stephen Harper and his firm to assist with international trade. I think this is an interesting move, and why not get a politician with some international chops? Our Prime Minister doesn't have them, and our Miss Freeland doesn't have them, but, Stephen Harper does. So here's CBC News reporting. Province's growth plan includes increasing Saskatchewan population and oil production, new overseas trade offices. The Saskatchewan government has released its 10-year plan to grow the province's population and economy. The growth plan includes goals of increasing the population by 226,000 and creating 100,000 more jobs by 2030. Quote, growth allows us to help and protect the most vulnerable among us. Mo said, growth enables us to provide opportunity for young people so they stay in Saskatchewan. I scroll down. The province's plan includes 30 goals for 2030. Aside from population and job growth, these include increase exports by 50%, increase agriculture value added revenue by $10 billion, growing agri-food exports by $20 billion, increasing oil production to 600,000 barrels a day, tripling the Saskatchewan tech sector, reducing surgical wait times to a 3-month target. Province partners with former Prime Minister Harper. Another new initiative revealed in the plan is the revival of international trade offices in Japan, India, and Singapore. In an effort to increase trade by 50% in the next decade, the provincial government will also be hiring Harper and Associates, the consulting firm of former Prime Minister Stephen Harper. Quote, we expect Prime Minister Harper is going to help us increase our exports to more than 150 countries where we do business each and every day, Mo said. The offices are meant to establish a stronger Saskatchewan presence in key trading areas, Mo said. Costs are expected to be announced when the offices are open. Saskatchewan is a world-class exporter and powerhouse in our confederation, Stephen Harper said in a statement. Its people and products can compete and win at home and around the world. The government is paying Harper and Associates $240,000 for the contract. Harper is headed to India with Saskatchewan Minister of Trade Jeremy Harrison this week. I hope they don't invite anybody untoward to dinner. No, Stephen Harper's way too experienced for that. And there's more to the story a little bit here. The NDP, the leader of the NDP in Saskatchewan, responds, and that's him. I don't know. I thought that was an interesting picture to use. Weird. Anyway, and the NDP largely says they're on the same path. They say, yeah, more growth is good, increased population is good. So I take that for what it is. Here's the CBC News reporting, and this is in the jobs category. And it's interesting to me if this was SNC-Lavalin. And well, there's two more job stories coming up. Like, these are quick, but it's interesting, right? All of these layoffs happening all at the same time. This is a concerning trend. CBC News reporting, Baffinland cuts contracts, leaves 96 Inuit workers without work, in addition to 500 non-Inuit workers. Okay. More than 500 people have been laid off in Baffinland Iron Mine suspended work. As Baffinland Iron Mine suspended work, it's scheduled to finish this year, 1 month earlier than it planned before the holidays. The company did that by ending contracts with subcontractors. The move affects 96 Inuit and 490 non-Inuit laborers who held contracts at the May River Mine, 150 kilometers outside of Pond Inlet. All Inuit workers in the series of layoffs were employed by other companies doing contract work for the mining corporation. The company says no Baffinland employees are impacted. Baffinland says it's suspending the work over, quote, uncertainty of phase 2 permit approvals. Certain contractors working on site have been notified that these works have been suspended, the mining company told CBC in an email this week. There is no date for remobilization at this time. So this is a very important contract to Nunavut, and it says that here, the chamber, right? The chamber says this project is very important to Nunavut. And it's concerning just the sheer volume of jobs. It's contractors, right? But at the same time, those are people. And this is like a month before Christmas, right? A month and a bit before Christmas. So bad timing. Well, is there ever good timing to do that? But at the same time, a lot of it has to do with the slowdowns it's the approvals and the uncertainty about the approvals, right? The phase 2 permit approvals. So that uncertainty is driving these layoffs. That's unfortunate. Here's CBC, and this isn't approvals. This is just a declining budget, but this is mostly due to the Olympics. But again, it's hitting at an interesting time. This is reported November 15th, 2019, which was yesterday. And the report is layoffs hit CBC News amid operating budget decline. Citing a decrease in its operating budget, the news division of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation announced layoffs Thursday. Approximately 35 positions were impacted, most of them in the broadcaster's Toronto newsroom, a spokesperson for CBC said. Today, as some of you may already know, a number of CBC News staff were given notice of their redundancy, wrote Jennifer Maguire, the editor-in-chief of CBC News, in a memo to staff. This is part of a difficult but necessary exercise to manage a decrease to the CBC News operating budget this fiscal year. Maguire said affected staff include unionized members of the Canadian Media Guild, CMG, unaffiliated employees, as well as members of management within the CBC News. I scroll down. In its 2018-19 annual report, the CBC reported a 14.5% decrease in revenue. The public broadcaster, which has a mixed funding model from government and advertising, reported $490 million in revenue for 2018-19 compared to $573 million in 2017-18. The steep year-over-year decline, however, was in large part because of the Pyongyang 2018 Olympic Winter Games provided a boost to the advertising and licensing in 2017-18. Excluding the impact of the Winter Games, CBC's revenue from its ongoing activities fell 1.9% in 2018-19, according to the annual report. So, I mean, this could just be a correction. They're flush with all that Olympics money, and now that's run out, and so they have to correct. 1.9% drop is kind of normal. I mean, you don't like that for the shareholders, but when the shareholders are taxpayers and the Prime Minister is Justin Trudeau, well, what do you care, right? And the last jobs report, CBC News is reporting CN Rail slashes jobs as weakening economy cuts into freight volumes. Right. Concerning trends, guys. Concerning trends. This one was reported yesterday as well, 4:23 p.m. And it says Canadian National Railway Company is confirming job cuts as it deals with a weakening North American economy that has eroded demand for railroad transportation. The company, whose headquarters are in Montreal, said it is adjusting its resources to demand, but wouldn't say how many people will be affected. It said some employees will be placed on furlough, and there will be reductions in both management and union job numbers. In October, Canada's largest railroad operator cut cut its adjusted earnings per share outlook percentage for 2019 to the high single digits, down from predictions of low double-digit growth. Freight volumes came in below expectations in the third quarter, and manufacturing has also fallen off, it said. CN Rail also said it was affected by a slowdown in the British Columbia forestry sector, where high log prices and dwindling timber supply have prompted shutdowns or curtailments in more than 24 mills, and due to the weather-delayed grain crop on the prairies. Quote, this includes, as explained during CN's Q3 result, the company is adjusting its resources to demand, said spokesperson Alexandre Boulet in a statement. This includes the difficult decision of adjusting its workforce to demand levels by placing some employees on furlough and reducing both management and union job numbers to a weakening of many sectors of the economy. These adjustments have already started to take place across the network. Right, so the economy is slowing. There's less being exported. There's less being moved due to weather, due to all of these other factors, and that results in management and union jobs being lost. So, concerning trends, if you ask me. But that's enough for me today. Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out CanadaPoly.com and have a wonderful, wonderful